Hey everybody, this is Rustin Rose of Access Entertainment, and with us today, the amazing young Dylan Scott. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, but I can't be nearly as good as you. Your debut album is finally dropping this coming Friday. You've got to be out of your mind excited.
I am, man. It's been something that I've been working at for a really long time, something I've dreamed about since I was a little boy. So for it to be a week away for my full-length debut album to be done and released and everybody gets to hear it, it's a pretty exciting time.
You have got to be one of the biggest social media country gurus there are out there. You have really made that work for you. And that's a huge part of it today, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I just started doing social media and realizing that, man, if I could have been, 11, 12, 13, even now at 25, 26, or even when I'm 40 or 45, whatever, if I could be maybe, messaging Tim McGraw, or Tim McGraw favorites a tweet of mine or likes a picture of mine, you see that's pretty cool, I was a big Tim McGraw fan growing up. So I just realized that. So I was like, you know what? Without the fans, we don't have anything. And so it's so huge, it's so huge to do social media and interact with people. And, I just took a part of it.
Well, and it's a different dynamic. We're going to talk about your growing up and following a little bit in your father's footsteps in just a moment. But that dynamic has changed from when your father was in the music industry, when I was growing up, because musicians, whether it was rock or country, had this sort of mystique. You got these big record deals. And these days, you could have huge hits all over the radio, and you're still having to get out there in front of the people. The mystique is sort of gone. Now it's that connection you were just talking about.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just an example yesterday, Snapchat. These girls are on the way to the show, and they Snapchatted, hey, we're on our way to your show. And then, I look front row, and there they are. And I mentioned it. I was like, hey, I saw your Snapchat. That's awesome. It's a different connection, man. It's really cool the way it is. And you're right. It's different than what it was years ago, for sure.
Well, nice segue there, because you grew up watching your dad play with the likes of Freddie Fender and so many others, and you obviously have some classic influences in your sound, but you very much have a contemporary sound overall. So who are some of the influences that have helped define you as an artist and a songwriter?
Yeah, so speaking of my dad playing with Freddie Fender and Freddie Hart, I grew up seeing pictures and hearing stories of my dad, and he was off the road by the time I came along. He gave it all up and started a family, but I grew up a huge Keith Whitley fan. I tell people that was my Elvis. Everybody talks about Elvis. That was Keith Whitley to me. And so I moved to Nashville at 18 going on 19, got my record deal. I thought, hey, I'm going to go be the next Keith Whitley. But it's a different day in country music, and just like anything, whether it's country music or vehicles or sports or whatever, everything changes. And so you have to find who you are, and that's what I did. I started writing, and over the past 6 or 7 years, I've just been writing and trying to develop who I am, and I feel like we've got a pretty good sound now. I feel like it's, we can do a little old school country, but at the same time, it's still current as well.
Yeah, and you add in some elements that aren't even necessarily country per se. You get a little bit of that rap thing going in there, not overly, but enough that you can feel it in the songs, and it adds something that's kind of unique.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm 25, so I grew up listening to old school country, but at the same time, I grew up listening to, top 40 and pop and hip hop and R&B. I listen to all that and really like it. So we do throw some of it in there as well as do other artists. And what I've realized is when we go to shows and we play this, music to people and they're out in the crowd dancing, having a good time, they really like it. And so I enjoy performing it. I enjoy seeing them smile and dance and have a good time. So it's a cool deal.
Yeah. Now you're from Louisiana, obviously, which has such culture and character. And I know you moved to Nashville, but the Louisiana doesn't leave you. How does growing up there, as opposed to say Nashville or New York or anywhere else, how does that sort of impact your music, your style? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, where I grew up 20 minutes literally from the nearest town, not even city, the nearest town. So I grew up out in the middle of nowhere. It's inspired my writing. It's inspired who I am. I mean, I try to get back as much as I can just to get off the fast pace and settle down and just take a breather. But Louisiana was great, man. I grew up northeast Louisiana. I could hop on a four-wheeler and literally drive all day long without seeing anybody. And so I miss it a little bit, but it's a lot of fun out here on the road as well.
Yeah, there's that nice juxtaposition. One day you can be playing in front of thousands of fans, and the next you can be in the middle of nowhere with just your
That's right.
just your sweetheart. And you've got this great modern romance going, which is sort of interlaid with a lot of your music. Tell us about that, because it's a wonderful story.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I got married a little over 2 months ago. And I married my high school sweetheart, and I started dating her when I was 15 and she was 16. So we've been together. We've been together 10 years next month, but only married a little over 2 months now. So she lived in Louisiana this whole time. We did long distance, so she knows what it's like, me being gone, me being on the road, so she gets it. But yeah, our new single is it's a song about her, which most of my songs are about her. So the song's called My Girl, and it's about my girl, everything about it.
And you've had a couple of other hits that were sort of connected to that story, right?
Absolutely. Our last single, Crazy Over Me, basically every song, people always ask me, I wonder who the girl is in these songs, and it's definitely my wife.
And you guys did a fantastic video for the new one. Where did you guys shoot that? Because there's some amazing scenery in there. I love that whole thing out on the lake or the river there with the little rock.
Yeah, that was in a national park just east of just west of Nashville, not too far. I forget the name of the park, but it was a great location. I mean, it was a hot day, but it was really fun. I thought it was perfect. I thought it turned out really good.
And you've got some amazing songs on this album. I want to talk about the record because it's just packed with great stuff. And you co-wrote more than half of it. Your buddy and at least one-time roommate, I don't know if he still is, Matt Alderman, was in on some of the songwriting, and the amazing Josh Kerr. Obviously, you picked some of your songs that you wrote, but you also picked some that were written by some other people. How do you sort of choose what's going to go? Because the first album's a big deal,
Right, yeah. It's tough, man. Even right now, even every week I go, man, I wonder if I should have put that song on it, or I wish I would have put that on it. But, there's always room. We'll put more stuff out. We'll put another album out. And, yeah, it's tough, but we did. I wrote a little over half of it, co-wrote it with some buddies of mine, talking about Matt Alderman. But the other songs on it, there's so many great songs in Nashville that you can't overlook. And when they come in, you're just like, wow, what a great song. And just for instance, there's a song on it called Living Room, which is a song I did not write, but the first time I heard it, I was like, man, it's too good. It's way too good. So we cut it, and it's one of my favorite songs on the album.
Yeah, and you got so many amazing ones on here. And I noticed sort of another little theme in some of your songs, and it's something that's always been one of those things I've enjoyed too. What is it about women? What is it about the girls in ball caps that just drive us crazy?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy. My wife, man, she can dress up and put all the makeup on, and she can just look great, But, man, she can put a ball cap on with no makeup on and a pair of shorts, and it's like, wow, this looks, I don't know what it is. It just drives, it drives us crazy.
Yeah, and you've got an amazing relationship with Jim Ed Norman. You guys worked on pretty much everything together. What was it like getting in the studio? Tell us about making your first album, because those are some of the memories that you're just never going to forget.
Yeah, you're exactly right, man. Jim Ed Norman is he's a fantastic guy. He's taught me so much in the studio. He's taught me a lot about producing. He's taught me a lot about even singing, and even being an artist, even being a person. I mean, even down to that, being a person, he's taught me so much. So the stories he has, and just sitting back in the studio and listening to these stories and then working a little bit and then hearing more stories and working a little bit. It was a lot of fun, and honestly, I'm ready to start the second record just to work with him some more.
A lot of these songs, I mean, half the songs on the album, if you pre-ordered it today, you could get half of them downloaded right now in advance. So the music's sort of been out there for a while. You've been working on this for a long time. Are you already looking ahead at what the second album might look like and writing for that?
We haven't started really writing for it yet. It's been a really busy year for me. This is the busiest year I've had so far. I've had one weekend off this whole year. That was the weekend I got married. And when I actually get time to get in town, I'm only in Nashville for like a day or two. And so I haven't had a lot of time to write, but that's all going to change. It's all going to change when we have a hit single and we can get a bus full time and get some writers out. But we are looking for second record. It never stops. Jim Ed makes a good point. It's, you have all this time to work on the first record, but when it comes time for the second record, you don't have a lot of time because you're so busy. So that's very true. But yeah.
Well, so it's nice that you've got some stuff that you were still like, man, should I have put this one on there? So you at least know you've got some stuff you feel good about for the second record. But right now, the first record is what really matters. It's dropping this Friday, August 12th, and it's just a fantastic record, one of the great new voices in country music. Dylan, thank you so much for taking a little bit to chat with us, and it's been an honor chatting with you, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Absolutely, for sure. Thank you very much for taking the time.